So you've taken advantage of these low prices to generate positive cash flows.
Exactly. What I started in 2008, I saw a niche in the real estate market here in Arizona. This was before I got into the investment side of my business, which is what I do today. I was taking some buyers out, and they were first-time home buyers, and they didn't have a lot of capital reserves, just enough to put down a down payment and cover closing costs. And the market started to shift to being a lot of distressed properties, short sales in particular, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with by now. And they just could not wait 6 months to figure out if they were going to get the house or not. They had to be on a 30-day, close of escrow schedule. And we went and viewed some bank-owned homes, REOs at that time, that were pretty beat up. They were just not move-in ready. And my clients, only had the capital to put down the down payment and the closing costs and didn't have the extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to reinvest in the property to get it move-in ready. So that's when the light bulb went off, per se, in my head and said, well, there has to be a way to provide a product that's in move-in ready condition that can close in 30 days. I mean, it's not a novel concept, but it just was not out there in the marketplace for what the buyers were looking for. So I did some investigating and found the best way to purchase real estate at the rock bottom prices is at trustee sales. Trustee sales are the sales that are sold at the courthouse steps that are auctioned off to the highest bidder. So I approached an investor and of this idea, of this niche market, and he said, I believe that you might be onto something. And he seeded me with $600,000 in capital. And I just took that capital. I purchased some properties. I got a crew of contractors and subcontractors to fix up and rehab the property, and in turn would resell them for a profit to the buyers that were looking for that property or that kind of need in the market.
You found a niche and you've developed it. You started that in 2008, and it sounds like you've grown that. Now, you said you started with an investor initially. Are you still working with that investor?
Yes, that investor is still my partner today, and we've done approximately 135 flips from that beginning in mid-2008. And a lot of people questioned, whether you could flip in a declining market. Of course, the market here in Arizona and Phoenix in particular has dropped considerably since 2008 from the time we started flipping. But we're flipping at such a fast rate and not being subject to market fluctuations that we're able to move the properties off our books before we were getting hit with the price depreciation in the market. So as long as you have the right systems in place, you can standardize your materials, you can expedite the fix-up and rehab process, you can move properties in a declining market for a profit.
How quickly are you able to move them from the time you purchase them and take possession to the time you can find a buyer?
Well, our typical rehab depends on obviously the condition of the property. We'll do anything from a simple paint job, carpet clean, all the way up to putting in walls and flooring and cabinetry, the whole nine. But on average, I would say we have about a 2 to 3 week rehab on a house. And then we have an average days on market of 15 days. So we're pricing these things aggressively to move. We're not getting greedy with the price, which is what I see a lot of people do. They try to stretch that dollar as much as possible, then in turn they're shooting themselves in the foot. So we have an average of 2.5 weeks fix up to 3 weeks. We have 15 days on the market, and then we have a typical 30-day close of escrow. So we're moving these things off the books anywhere 7 to 9 weeks.
And you said you're pricing these things aggressively. If their fair market value is $100,000, are you trying to take a percentage off of that as a general rule to be aggressive?
Well, I wouldn't say it that way because our products are at such a premium. On a $100,000 house, a buyer might not expect to find granite countertops in it or stainless steel appliances or travertine backsplash or some of the little things that we do to be a selling feature, I guess, what I would say, for a buyer to be really attracted to it compared to what else is on the market, which is typically a short sell or an REO that doesn't have these kind of extra features and amenities that our houses have. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily we're trying to discount below the market value. Obviously, we try to maximize the return on what someone's willing to pay for it. And it's some of the little things that we do to our houses and some of the quality control that we have on our product and on our fix-up that sets us apart, and we're able to sell it, obviously at a premium over an REO or a bank-owned house, but still with what an appraiser, you could justify to an appraiser that the value of that house is worth. And that's why they move so fast, because of the condition of the property, and they're priced right to the market.
On the final sell, do you have any challenges getting these appraisers to come up to the price that you want when they see that you just bought it a couple months earlier for such a low price?
Sure, there's always obstacles, but you make money in flipping when you buy, not when you sell. So as long as you're buying right and you can justify the comps on what it should resell for when you buy, and you have your margin built in, obviously, you can make a profit. Now, dealing with appraisers, obviously we have a repair list, that details everything that we've done to the property to increase the value since the purchase. We have comps, comparable properties that we share with the appraiser out there to help justify the price. But in the end, if we're putting, $20,000 worth of rehab in a property, if a normal Joe and Mary Smith homeowner went to go put those same upgrades that we put in, it would cost them $40,000 instead of $20,000. So there's a lot of our margin just because of our cost positioning with our vendors and suppliers. We're able to get things at such a great cost that a normal homeowner cannot compete with, since we're doing it on such a large scale, which is really a huge added value to our business model.
Do you try to purchase these properties at a certain percentage below where you think the final retail value will be? Do you use some kind of formula in your purchase in what properties would or would not qualify for you to make a bid at the trustee sale?
Sure. I look at it as my net return on investment, and I want a minimum of 10%. So if I'm investing $100,000, I have to make $10,000. $200,000, I have to make $20,000. That's the way I look at it. And, at the end of the day, what am I going to walk away with? And obviously, there's certain properties, areas, features to a house that I will not buy, and there are certain things I look for in a house that I will pay a premium for. For example, I won't buy anything that backs up to a major road or a power line or a big commercial complex, anything that would really limit the number of buyers. I want to appeal to the mass. So I don't want to take that buyer pool and shrink it at all. I want it as large as possible. And some of the things on the contrary that I do look for is single-story homes. In the Arizona market, we've had a huge influx of Canadian buyers, and these are second-time home buyers that are looking for single-family homes, great room floor plans. They're looking for communities that have some amenities like a swimming pool or hiking and biking trails, a golf course. So I'm really targeting out certain communities and certain floor plans and features of homes that would appeal to what I think the buyer would be. And even in 2008, 2009, when FHA did not have the waiver for home buyers, you had to have title season for 90 days. It didn't affect my business model at all because what I was buying was not appealing to the first-time home buyer. So I would be able to still resell all my properties to non-FHA buyers, being cash or conventional buyers, where I wouldn't get stuck with having to hold them for 90 days before I could resell them. So it's really targeting not only what you don't want to look for that would hinder the amount of buyers to that property, but also what you would attract as a buyer to purchase that home.
That's smart. You're looking at the end first.
Exactly. It's reverse engineering it.
Who's doing the work? Are you going out there and doing the work, or do you have somebody that's doing the work for you?
I run about 3 crews that do all the work for me. Typically, I'll own about 13 to 17 homes at any given time. that's in the fix and flip process. 4 or 5 might be coming soon to the market where we're going through rehab on them. A couple might be on the market active. Then we'll have 7 or 8 pending, waiting for a close of escrow.